It's time for a kitchen project. I got this recipe from a poker friend. And his wife used to make and turn ordinary pretzels into what we were calling seasoned pretzels. And this is the remainder of the batch that I just finished. And you can see the seasonings these are a perfect pretzel because the seasonings get stuck in the little squares, the little openings. So that's the end of the batch. And what you can also do, instead of using these Snyder's snaps, is I'm going to make a batch this time with oyster crackers. So this way you could kind of grab a handful, pop them in your mouth. So I'm going to share that recipe with you. You can see that this is an Utz cheese balls container. You can make these in a large Ziploc bag, or get something like this. So I'll show you why I like this container, and I just use this over and over again. So stay tuned. I'll lay out the ingredients and let you know what options you have. Okay, so it's time to add our ingredients. I'm actually not going to use a measuring cup. I've done this so many times. I know about where it goes in this little small mixing bowl. So I can just pour it in, but you can measure your 3/4 of a cups. And I see this kind of like a faint line in the bowl where it curves. And so I know that's where it goes to. And I'm kind of lazy. I just use a half a teaspoon measuring cup or measuring spoon. And I know that I need 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon. So it ends up being 4 teaspoons. So I can do it by half teaspoons. I could count to 8. And this is where I'll back off a little bit. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. So instead of 8, I'm doing 6. I almost always do the full 2 half teaspoons or 1 teaspoon of dill weed, half a teaspoon of onion salt. And in this case, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of Old Bay. Okay, so that's the limit of your ingredients. And now you can see they're all just sitting on top for the most part. And you're just going to mix those in until they're all incorporated into the oil. Move all this out of the way. And now this is where either the bag or the container comes in, because now once you have those all mixed, you're basically just going to pour it over top of whatever it is you're seasoning. And make sure you scrape it all out. Get all the good seasonings in there. So now we're done with that. So now you can see that it's just glistening in there. It might get a little noisy here. So basically, you'll see that it'll sink to the bottom, and you're just going to continue to move these around. And I like this open container method better because you can kind of be more gentle, and you can see they're coating nice. And then what I'll often do, instead of having all that liquid sit flat down in here, I'll rest it somewhere on an angle. You could put it on top of something so that it just sits there angled, and then all the liquid will sit down in one corner, and just come back another 5 minutes, give another shake. Usually do that once or twice, maybe 3 times, and they'll be well coated. And then you just kind of let them sit. It's probably best to let them sit overnight. You can already see the seasonings. But one of the things that I'll do after, like, I've shaken it once or twice, so we're maybe 10 minutes in, I'll come back and I'll do a little bit of dusting of ranch seasoning, or the dill weed, or the Old Bay over top of once they're saturated, and it just gives you a little bit of an extra coating on the majority of that. So you can try it like this, and then add whatever you want the main flavor to come through a little more. Sprinkle it right on it as you mix them. And that's it. And enjoy.